Hi, this is Cheryl Gallant, your Conservative Member of Parliament for the ship-shape riding of Renfrew-Nipissing-Pembroke. Justin Trudeau's new Minister of Justice is trying to gaslight Canadians. Liberal catch and release policies have unleashed a crime wave across this country. Canadians don't feel safe in their communities and on their streets. But Trudeau's new Justice Minister and Attorney General is telling Canadians this is all just in their heads, and that an increase in crime is empirically unlikely. He's wrong. Here are the facts according to Statistics Canada. After 8 years of Justin Trudeau, violent crime has risen 39%. Gang-related homicides are up 108%. Violent gun crime has steadily increased every year, now up 101% since 2015. Murders are up 43%, the highest rate in 30 years, increasing 66% in Toronto, 55% in Vancouver, and 38% in Montreal. This crime wave is a direct result of Liberal policies. Random attacks on our transit systems, the 9 police officers murdered in the line of duty over a year, and repeat violent offenders who terrorize our streets while they're out on bail. In Vancouver, just 40 people were responsible for 6,000 crimes in 1 year. The data reported by the government's own statisticians are not imaginary. Trudeau's new Justice Minister has revealed to Canadians that nothing will change under his watch. Instead, Canadians can expect more catch and release policies with increased deadly crime rates as a result. This rookie Justice Minister needs to stop trying to distract and blame Canadians and instead take responsibility. Canada wasn't like this before Trudeau, and it won't be like this after he's gone. We will end Trudeau's catch and release policies and keep the small number of dangerous, repeat, violent offenders in our country where they belong, behind bars. We will fix the problem Trudeau started with his flawed bills like C-75 and C-5 that let dangerous, repeat, violent offenders out onto the streets and back into our communities. Only common sense Conservatives will bring home safe streets. Last week, Meta, the company which owns Facebook and Instagram as well as Threads, announced it would begin blocking links to news on Facebook. This is a direct result of the Liberals' Online News Censorship Act. This was always Trudeau's real goal. Millions of Canadians only learned about Trudeau's repeated use of blackface through social media sites like Facebook. The same goes for his corruption with SNC-Lavalin or We Charity. The legacy media first claimed that Facebook was stealing their content. Now the legacy media is demanding Facebook share their content. Since 2020, we've seen how aggressively social media companies have been censoring unpopular speech. Only Conservatives will end the online censorship and restore freedom of expression online. There is nothing the Liberals love more than to make meaningless declarations. First, they declared a climate crisis. Then carbon taxes went up, but carbon emissions also went up. So next, they declared a climate emergency. Carbon taxes went up, and carbon emissions went up. All they've done is spread fear and hysteria. Yet, when faced with a real crisis, the Liberals stick their heads in the sand. Canada is experiencing a housing crisis. The price of a home has doubled since Trudeau first took power. According to the latest statistics, the crisis is going to get worse. New home construction is down this year. Trudeau's out-of-control spending has already pushed up interest rates. Now Trudeau's throwing up his hands and claiming housing isn't his responsibility. In 2015, the Liberals ran on a promise to make it easier to find an affordable home. Not only did they break their promise, they took steps to make it harder to find an affordable home. Only Conservatives can bring homes into livable places so people can afford them. With 7 weeks having passed since Parliament rose for the summer, Canadians are increasingly concerned with continued Liberal inaction on the most important issues in communities across our country. While ministers are taking vacations and showing up for photo ops, Canadians are suffering from the result of their policies. Conservatives are calling on the ministers of finance, housing, justice, and public safety to cut their vacations short and appear before parliamentary committees to face scrutiny for their failures. Life is more and more unaffordable, with inflation continuing to hit hard. Housing is more out of reach than ever, with not enough construction and rising interest rates. Crime continues to plague our communities, with repeat violent offenders being turned loose thanks to catch and release Liberal policies. This is not the first attempt that Conservatives have made to bring home accountability through parliamentary committees this summer. Conservative MPs have tried to force committees back to address urgent issues facing Canadians, but have been stonewalled by other parties. The issues ranging from interest rate hikes to the transfer of Paul Bernardo to the Justice Minister's dismissal of rising crime statistics. The Liberals, NDP, and the Bloc have blocked multiple attempts to force them to do their jobs and bring back the Finance and Justice and Public Safety committees. It's time for this Liberal government to answer for their record of failure. And it's time for other parties to cancel their vacations and show up to do the job that Canadians elected them to do. Live from Ottawa, this is Cheryl Gallant.